Let me walk you through a configuration of RSpan so that we get a little bit more comfort with this. And there's some really good things about the way that I'm going to show it to you so that you can use this in your own environment, because there are some areas where this is a little bit daunting. Okay, so I'm going to go over to DSW1, and we're going to have this device be the span capture device, and it is going to pump it into VLAN 993, and we'll say that ASW1 is going to take that in and reroute it to a local port. Maybe PC2 is going to be capturing that data. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do a show VLAN brief. Do we have the remote span VLAN? And the answer is no, I don't. Let me do a show VTP status. I am running VTP version 3. Now, VTP is just one of those protocols that is maligned, but I want to use it to my benefit to create the RSpan VLAN. Now, this is the primary server, and I do that with the VTP primary command. Just if you ever need to set up VTP v3, and we're already the primary, so it's going to get a little bit confused at that point, but I wanted to show it to you. I aborted that because we are already the primary VLAN. So I'm going to create the RSpan VLAN, and we're going to say name RSpan only. I want to make sure that I don't use this for some other purpose. Name your environment accordingly. Now we need to make sure that ASW1 gets this. So I'll do a show VLAN brief here, and I'm going to be looking for that VLAN 993. It doesn't exist right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out, and upon exiting, that's when VTP is going to trigger a change, and then we see that. Now, all it shows us right now is that we have an RSpan VLAN, at least in name. Does ASW1 know that this is a special kind of VLAN? Well, we can't really tell from this output. So let's drop off the brief. I'm so used to doing show VLAN brief, but I'm not really used to doing a show VLAN. And it's because I rarely look at this other output. So I look here, no, nothing there. Spacebar through. Still has an MTU of the default 1500. So far we don't have what we need. Now I was hoping that it would show up right here, remote span VLANs. Let's do a show VLAN again. I want to make sure. Oh, and you know what? It just occurred to me. I didn't make it a remote span VLAN, did I? So this is behaving right. So let's do VLAN 993 again. Remote span, that's all it took. Silly mistake. Correctable, however. Let's do this show VLAN brief again, or show VLAN. See, I'm so used to it. Now it is showing as a remote span VLAN. Isn't that awesome? What facilitated or propagated that change was VTP. Specifically, VTP v3 is what I want. And it's going to communicate different types of VLANs. The same is true for private VLANs. It makes your life a whole lot easier with private VLANs. Okay. Well, that's a big step in the right direction. Now let's go over to DSW1, and we're going to do a capture. Let's say so I'm going to do monitor, session, and we're going to have session number 2, source, and we'll say VLAN 800. Let's say I want to capture management traffic. And then the destination, VLAN 993. Remote, VLAN 993. Okay, so I'm now pumping copied traffic from VLAN 800 into VLAN 993. Looks good to me. Now, let's solidify the configuration by going to ASW1 And we've already verified that we have the remote span VLAN properly configured. Monitor session 2. I like to match it. It doesn't, the session number is locally significant, but let's match it in this case. Source remote VLAN 993, and then destination, let's say that's going to be Fast Ethernet 0/2. We got it done. So that's what it takes to set up RSpan. It's not as bad as you think. And we'll do a show monitor to make sure that things look good, and they do. I'll do that command also on DSW1. And looks good. Looks good. So, and we already had a pre-existing local span session, not to be confused with the newly added span session of session number 2. So remote span is a very attainable, very practical configuration for your own environment, so long as you have layer 2 connectivity between your source and your destination.